So I have a PlayStation 5, and I like it quite a bit. In fact, I really enjoy the actual direction that we're heading in when it comes to console gaming, not just for the PlayStation 5, but the Series X. As far as load times, graphical fidelity, that's definitely the focal point of a lot of different companies, developers, publishers. But when it comes to actually choosing how my consoles look, or rather my technologies, whether it be my phone or my tablets or my computers or whatever, black is the new black. Yeah, I never really vote for anything that is just not black. Black just goes with everything. I'm a firm believer of that. And so when the actual look of the PlayStation 5 was revealed, I was more or less indifferent to it, because even though the actual design of the PlayStation 5 with the panels and the centerpiece and the actual sizing of the damn thing, I was pretty indifferent to it. I was like, okay, I'm vibing with it. It's gonna require some airflow. The actual look of the console looks like something that's a very huge conversation starter, and it doesn't necessarily look ugly. I'm open to it. I just wish that it came in a variety of colors, because I just don't go with that white. Once that breakdown video went up and revealed that you can actually take those panels off, I knew that there was quite a good open space for modding for third parties, or even first party for Sony themselves, to actually come in and give us options to customize our own consoles without the need to buy new consoles every time a brand new flagship game gets released, just like they were doing with the PlayStation 4 and even the PlayStation 3 ahead of time. So in comes in CMPShells.com, which was the first company that I ever heard of that was making their brand new own proprietary shells for the PlayStation 5. Now, here's the little bit of a backstory behind this company before we get into the unboxing. This is the same company that unfortunately did get a cease and desist letter from PlayStation themselves, because at the time their website was called PlayStation 5. And admittingly, I think they were just one or two typos away from garnering a good chunk of that traffic that would have gone to PlayStation. That's probably one of the main factors as to why they got that cease and desist and threat of a lawsuit. So instead they went for CMP Shells. They are actually very self-proclaimed to be untouchable by PlayStation at this point, and went through with their operation to generate custom-made shells that you can then put on your PlayStation 5 to change up the color, whether it be black, navy, blue, red, etc. And as well as all the different little accessories for the controller and the little middle strip of the PlayStation 5. But I went and got the basic matte black, pre-ordered amongst one of the first couple of waves, and that was back in December. So now here we are 3 months later, and it's finally arrived in this laptop style sort of box. Pretty interesting, except I kind of don't get the astronaut picture there at the front. I mean, the tagline at the bottom says, your PlayStation 5 or PS5 isn't a router anymore, because one of the big criticisms was that the PS5 was looking like a router from a lot of people. It's a dark portal to another world, hashtag PS5 blackout. I'm guessing that this is the astronaut in question going to another world, but there's a little bit of a disconnect when it comes to marketing. I would say that this reminds me more of PlayStation when they themselves were making those really weird commercials, like when the PS3 was coming out and they made that commercial with the baby doll creepy crying thing. Oh, thank God we're not doing that anymore. So anyways, here it is. I have refrained from opening the box. It's very simple, very straight to the point. A little too simple, to the point where they didn't even do any kind of like adhesive taping, so quite literally anybody could have nabbed this from my front door and just kind of gone in, grabbed the contents, and kind of made out with it. But anyways, here we go. So we're going to be opening up right there, and on the inside you get, oh, okay, that's one thing also, disclosing. You can kind of see the CMP Shell logoing going around right there. Hey. But first thing in the box is actually the skin for the controller. I actually got a bundle deal, because you can get the plates by themselves, or for I think like an extra 15-20 bucks you can get the plates along with a kind of 3M style vinyl kind of skin for your DualSense controller, so that then your controller then be coordinating with your PlayStation 5 console with the new plates to give it that matte black finish. Now, granted, I don't know if I'm going to be applying these just yet, because at the time of this recording I only have one DualSense controller. Once I get a second one, if it's like, even if it's you know, pre-owned or used or open box or whatever, I'll then slap these on. So for now, I'm gonna store these kind of off to the side. I have another thing right here that's rubber band and kind of coiled together. Oh, is this the strip? Oh shit, this is the strip. That's right. I forgot that they were throwing it in. I honestly didn't think they were gonna throw it in. I think this might be a last minute thing because this wasn't in the description. So they threw this in. Cool. I mean, I don't like that they wrapped it. That's probably my own little nitpick. You know, don't wrap it. You know, try to. I guess it couldn't really fit in the box if it was lateral, but yeah, they wrapped it up. So in hindsight now, it's kind of wrinkly a little bit. So it's gonna require a little bit of stretching. But this is basically another vinyl sticker with a matte black finish that is meant for the middle section of the console. So if you don't want the glossy black middle part of the PS5 console, you can then cover it with this and give it a matte black aesthetic. And that's pretty cool that they threw it in. Alright, so this is kind of a freebie. I can't be too ungrateful because it is in fact a freebie that was just not considered part of this entire bundle, so I'm appreciative of that. At least that's from my understanding. And then finally we get to the panels themselves. So they're kind of wrapped up there. So we take them out. Pretty sturdy plastic there, matte black finish. Pretty replicative of the actual PlayStation 5 panels themselves. Did they do it? Did they do it? Did they not do it? They went with the generic patterning. I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, they would go with some kind of parody as far as the, you know how everybody was talking about the actual texture inside of the white panels on the PlayStation 5 are actually the little sacred symbols from PlayStation. So the square, the triangle, the X, the circle. Nothing going on like that here inside of here, except I wasn't expecting it to be a copycat because obviously they'll get sued at that point again. But at least some kind of patterning to make fun of that, to kind of parody that and harken to that. Unfortunately, no, it's just a generic kind of raspy texture that you've probably seen in other items and other products. But there you have the panel itself with the little hooks right there to kind of hook it up to the console. This is the basic flat panel that's going to go off on one of the sides. Of course, no PlayStation logo like the original white panels here, for obvious reasons. And as we kind of put that off to the side, we remove this. I'm probably going to use this to lay the PlayStation 5 on during the installation process. But then at the bottom we get the other panel, and FYI, I did get the disc version because obviously I have the disc version of the PlayStation 5. So once we remove the box, gonna move this off to the side, bring this about right here in case I want to lay down the console. There we have the other panel, and this one's naturally going to be a tad bit thicker because it does have the disc slot right there, with the nice little thick, you know, curvaceous paneling going on right there to show that ass. And that's pretty much it, really. You know, there's nothing much to it except to now go through with the installation process, which I've never really done before, so let's hope to God that I don't fuck anything up. But if I do, at least it'll make some content here on the channel. Over here, there's the old school PS5. Old school, wow. Chances are I am gonna have to remove the stand here at the bottom, so let me just do that real fast. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to unscrew it. Just the Kia Rio keys here. There we go. And trying to reverse engineer the actual process of how some of these things would probably hook up, I would probably say you probably have to pull down and then pop off. I've seen it be rather easy.
A few moments later.
Peel it off. You don't even have to apply all that much force. Just gradually peel back.
Huh. Alright, so according to Yongya, palm and then peel, and then that should be fine. Oh man. Oh, it's coming off. Oh, okay. Careful. Alright, so upon giving it a gentle, a more or less gentle tug, I managed to remove the paneling. There's a little bit of dust already being collected there, but for the most part, it's looking rather identical to the black one as far as placement of the hooks and shaping and everything like that. I would probably say maybe just, oh, I have it upside down. If anything, PlayStation probably put a little bit more work and quality assurance into the bottom portions of the hooks as far as these sections right here, but the actual pointy parts of the hooks going inside of the console look pretty much identical to that of the CMP shell panel. So there you have kind of a little bit of a comparison, but other than that, all the entry points and little circles that you have right here near where the PlayStation logo would be are ideally about the same. Right now, it looks like the indicative way to figure out the placing of where to peel off from the get-go and kind of press down as you kind of unhook all of this is where the PlayStation logo originally would be, which is these two little circles right here, and that's where the PlayStation logo would be. And there you have the venting, a little bit of the circulation kind of going on right here, aerodynamics and all that. So now we're going to install the other plate, and I'm assuming it's going to be, for the most part, just as simple. If anything, you probably just kind of lined it up with everything that's hooked up right here. And again, this is my first time trying this out, so just kind of follow along with me. But basically, everything's just gonna kind of clip into place. I just kind of start off just a little off skew towards the bottom, and as I can kind of feel everything kind of fitting into place, let's kind of pop it in. Like, it lines up. Oh, there we go. I think we got it at the bottom part. There we go. There we go. I heard, now there's a click. Basically, there's, as soon as those circulative kind of venting going on right here at the very top actually is flush and pressed up against the paneling, that's when you know it's gone all the way. And that's kind of what we got going on right there. Everything just feels like it's compacted together. There you go. And I pretty much have a black and white system right there, but that bugs my OCD. So now let's do the disc portion, and this is the probably the one that I'm just a little bit more worried on, because this does have one of the main features of this particular version of the PS5 that I got. So let's see if we can do this correctly, and I would probably say I gotta come. Ooh, this was much easier. All right, this one was a lot less nerve-wracking. Just one simple little tug. Didn't do too much of the scratching motion. Just kind of easily kind of unpopped, or whatever you want to call it, kind of off the hinges. And then boom, there you go. And then we have, and I think another thing that helps is that, as you can see right there, there's a lot less hooking going on with the pegs inside, obviously because they have to make space for this little chamber section here to allow for the disc drive. I would imagine that basically if you were to do this with the all digital edition, you would be feeling a lot more friction from the hooks, because there will be a lot more hooks to begin with the absence of the disc drive itself right there. Now we're just gonna grab the black one and see if we could pretty much just kind of reverse engineer the process, just like we kind of did. Just pops right into place. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Wow. See, that's the thing. It's how easy it is. It's like, why hasn't Sony done anything by this point? Like, they're just making us linger, so then we get these third parties. But when the third parties do it, PlayStation comes around and be like, no, you can't do that. It's like, okay, well, then pick one, man. Pick one. And I guess CMPShells here figure out a loophole. And they're not the only ones either. I understand that out there, D-Brand is also creating their own shells for roughly about the same price and same construction quality and whatnot. So it's up to you who you want to really go with. I just went with them because they were the first ones to kind of put it out there when they were called PlayStation 5, and that's kind of who I went with. But I understand that D-Brand is a little bit more of a recognizable brand, and they're out there as well. But popped in there, and now we finally have, oh my god. Oh yeah, actually, just to be on the safe side, let's put the finishing touches here by putting the base back onto the PlayStation 5 and making sure that it's secure. Base is screwed in and tight and firm, she said. And then we have the all-new matte finish PlayStation 5 right there. Like I said, the only thing that I'm probably just a little regretful for, only because obviously with third parties kind of taking the matters into their own hands, you're not gonna have any kind of signage or emblems or anything like that that kind of references the PlayStation legacy because of copyright and lawsuits pending. So naturally, they have to go with either generic symbols or things like that, which in CMPShells' case, they didn't really go with anything. D-Brand, I believe, does do that thing that I was also kind of wishing they would do on the inside of the paneling, just like with the original PlayStation 1's the white ones. On the inside, you have the sacred symbols making up the texturing. Dbrand, I understand, I think has their own thing going on to try to stay in that safe area to not get in trouble, but to kind of parody that thing that they got going on. Now, am I going to apply that vinyl sticker on the middle part right here? I gotta be honest, I don't think so. I actually, believe it or not, as much as I love the black matte finish on both of the panels, I want to keep it just a tad bit distinctive and actually keep the middle part glossy, just to also give it that semblance that, hey, this is also a PlayStation console, and their PlayStation consoles in the past have had amalgamations of being, crossing into both matte and glossy textures when it comes to their design. The original PlayStation 3 piano finish, giant, massive, big boy, had that glossy finish. And then you also had other versions of the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 that actually had both matte and glossy finishes kind of combined within the architecture. So I kind of want to have the PlayStation 5 be its own breed in amongst that kind of category, and keep the middle part glossy. So if anything, I'm probably just going to keep the vinyl packed away. Yeah, I'm actually really satisfied, to the point where maybe, just maybe, as soon as that second Steamy hits, I might pick up the red version, just to kind of have, options that I can kind of bounce in between. So I have this. Technically, we do have a white finish that was default by PlayStation, and then maybe in the future I'll get that red, sleek red, to kind of have this be the surrogate Spider-Man PlayStation 4 Pro that I was never able to really properly get. And as I've mentioned before, I feel like black kind of goes along with everything, and this is going to feel right at home next to my other consoles and my entertainment system, and give me peace. That does it for my unboxing / installation / review of the PlayStation 5 customizable matte black shells from CMPShells.com. If you guys want to check them out, links are going to be in the description. Otherwise, there's also Dbrand. They're coming out with their own stuff. I feel like eventually PlayStation's probably going to finally give us something that can give us that look that we're all kind of craving for, whether it be designs that are catering to their properties like Ratchet & Clank, God of War, Spider-Man, etc., or something that also, pays homage to their legacy of PlayStation. I know that Dbrand themselves, I can't remember if it was either Dbrand or CMP, I apologize, but somebody out there is also coming up with not necessarily shells like these, but skins, like vinyl skins that you can apply to your PlayStation 5 that have little designs and quirks that pay homage to like the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PS1, etc. And that's something that is very attractive about the PS5. Besides the technology inside of the DualSense controllers, the customizability of the PS5 itself with the shells. And I think that PlayStation should definitely embrace the change rather than resist it. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. And as always, stay humble.